Where would stand if we,
Would be starting year 2 maybe, and we might be able to see some savings. There is talk about other towns doing this. We may want to jump onto that. Maybe we can pull that process.
Yeah, we were going to go local, right? Weren't we going to approach some of our community hospitals?
we did that.
Oh, I
And
didn't
it
see
was
any
more
information.
expensive.
Yeah, the L&M couldn't even come close. But we can, and that might be part of the conversation in January.
Thank you.
Just
Or
look into that.
do we dig into, I guess my question would be, the monthly expenditures we're making, what is it for? Are there catastrophic? I mean, clearly there's some that approach the 125. So is it stuff that would really be covered by?
We're in a new plan year now.
Right, right. So I guess it would be interesting as we go out for alternatives or even look at a clinic, how much of what our exposure really is would be picked up by using the clinic. So, somewhere, I don't know
A lot of
who
details.
digs into the details of all those numbers. But
Band-Aids and poison ivy versus
Yeah,
cancer.
right, right.
So again, I think I've mentioned this before. It goes back to my point where if we're going to undertake something of that magnitude, we have to look at the whole picture. Lay out all the options A, B, C, and D, and not just go piecemeal. It's like, let's buy this or let's do this, or what is it going to cost if we have reinsurance over the 125? We've got to get the big picture, just not bits and pieces. That's my recommendation, so that we're not making decisions on pieces of the plan, so to speak.
I get
So
it.
which goes back to.
It's
do
on
we-
me. It's on me, and we've had this we have a
So
health
we need-
insurance
we need
consultant
that-
come in.
And we need a committee, though, of people to really study it,
Yeah.
the entire realm of possibilities out
Yeah.
there. And then that committee needs to come forward and say, this is what everything is going to cost us going forward, so we can make a more intelligent decision. So I know it's on you. I know you have a benefits consultant that you rely on, and
Because we looked at 100, we looked at 125. What if we went to 200,000? We looked at all that, and this was the number that made the most sense and cost effective. And we looked into what if we didn't self-insure. We went back to the plan, and obviously that wasn't the right place to be going into this fiscal year. But we'll do that exercise again, and I agree with you. Bring it up to committee, though it might slow the process down a little bit. We might, we could spread out the decision making too.
and go to I don't know, 1 year, 2 year contracts or whatever, but have a competitive bid process frequently. I don't know if you do that every year or every 2 years or what it is.
There's only a couple insurance companies in the game.
Yep.
you know,
Well,
Aetna
we'll
and-
rotate between them.
Part of the problem.
Well, and then
Whatever
again,
it
I think
takes.
we're digging this up again, and we talked about this last time. We looked at going back to Anthem, and the price is more.
That might be a problem with the cost right there, if you only have two companies you can deal with that are
Right.
on
That's the
market.
problem with health insurance in America
Right.
is,
Yeah.
these companies get into states and then they're not available in other states.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, this is systemic. This is clearly on our radar screen, so, yeah, I don't think, to Camille's point, you're right. We want to get
The
as much
choice is very
info-
limited.
Legislation, I know it
But
didn't
we're-
pass, but
Part-
that municipalities were allowed to join the state insurance.
Yes, it was more expensive the last time we looked.
yeah, the town looked at that, and as I remember,
What towns,
Do
what
it
were the
now.
towns that joined the state exchange from your research?
I don't know what towns joined it. I know we didn't because it was more expensive than what we had, because we had a really favorable claims history and we were able
At
to
that
get
time.
decent rates. We will look at it again come January in anticipation of the new fiscal year coming up, because this rolls over with our fiscal year on July 1st. That's when the contracts roll. We'll
And-
certainly take a look at it and we'll do our homework.
And I think you would like to see that information, right? Have that all to make a comparison or to get the paperwork behind the answer that this is no good, why is it no good, so
Well,
that,
yeah, I'm not sure that I want to see every bit of detail involved, but, what I would like is to be assured that we're looking at this every year, and coming up with the best plan every year. That's all. And I think we've been in the the self-insurance business for a long time. And I think that, our number was up. This year we have we have some catastrophic illnesses. Our number, it's like, it's gambling from year to year, whether this is going to happen.
Sure
to
is.
us. And I think it's better for the taxpayers to be able to have like a number they can count on versus something that's going to fluctuate wildly from year to year, possibly. It's an unknown that is risky. That's all.
Okay.
Moving on.
Steve?
Conducting a side meeting. Any other questions for Anna? Hearing none, we'll go to new business. The first item on our agenda is a special appropriation of $26,360 from CRNRE
Dugout.
Fund 32, the dugout project.
We got a big plan here.
We have a plan. We came to you before with part of the bonding package and said up to $40,000, and we didn't know, frankly, the exact numbers. And part of that was the town doing some of the Board of Ed's work because we have a change in administration, and we had the loss of Mr. Maltenberger, who did a lot of that stuff for the Board of Ed. I was happy to volunteer Bill Shear for this project, and he did 70, 80, 90 hours of work on this project. What we have is a solid plan, and I think Donna Geltman's here to explain some of it.
Thank you, Donna.
Well, good evening. First of all, I have not met all of you, and I am Donna Gittleman. I'm your interim assistant superintendent. I'm here to talk about dugouts, and I never thought that those words would leave my mouth. I believe you have the proposal in front of you. And I'm going to ask Bill to join me because I know you can talk about specifics as well.
Look at that, too.
But as far as the revenue, the plan is for this money to come from the capital non-recurring account.
Correct.
From the revenue from Learn.
Correct. Do you have specific questions for me?
I
Bill
just have
Shear's
one.
here. Bill Shear's here to talk
I just
about
have one question,
Well,
if I may, on the revenue, the rent revenue. And there's a history of using that rent wherever it needed to be, whether it was for the design for the schools, et cetera. So it has a multi-purpose use when needed. Okay, that's all.
Correct. And, given that the bonding package has already come and gone, and there was questions whether this small project should have been there in the
Bonding
first
item to begin
place,
with.
and I wholeheartedly agree. This is my first stab at it, and looking back, I think we're doing it the right way this way, and we're coming to you with great detail. I think Bill has some information, some specific what we're doing, what we're building. The masonry, the fact that we went out to bid, we came in with competitive bids. These are the actual prices. Bill,
I'm sure you all remember being here last time. You have hopefully the design in front of you. It is completely designed to the T. We matched the block, the two-tone block, split-face block on the concession stand. The colors are in there. The block colors are set. The wood colors are paint, so those can be modified in the field. The Board of Ed's going to paint them. We're going with a green roof, just like the concession stand. The Board of Ed at the end of the year had $7,000. We bid out the concrete slab. There's three contracts with this: the concrete slab, the masonry, and the roof, and with the woodwork involved with the roof. So at the end of the year, we bid out the concrete slab, and the Board of Ed had $7,000 left over at the end of the year. So we built the concrete slab already. So the remaining two contracts, which I bid out, which I don't like to do, bidding out jobs before I have money, because that's not fair to the contractors. But we did, and we have the two low bids listed on what you have there. So basically, to finish this job, we need $26,360. It's a very good design. It's exactly the same size as the previous dugouts that were there, 36 feet long by 8 feet wide. 36 feet is very long. It's much wider than this room.
Great.
So And we looked all around the state and looked at all the other dugouts. These dugouts are built to last, and they will be built very well. And we selected contractors to bid on it that we trust and know will do an excellent job. And two of the better ones won it. So I can answer any questions that you have regarding that.
Will this leave a balance in this account at all?
Of 25,000.
Thank you.
But then, like, we're, you know, as the year goes on, we get the monthly rent. So at the end of the year, we would have approximately 87,000,
Okay.
should no other requests be made.
I'm fine. I love the plan, love the idea.
I'm very satisfied that we're not bonding this little item out, that we found the money from an alternate source, and I think the homework was done, it went out to bid competitively, I'm satisfied.
Agreed.
I'm gonna find you a motion here.
You ready?
Be it resolved to approve a special appropriation to the Board of Education in the amount of $26,360 in CMRE Fund 32 for the purpose of framing, roofing, and masonry work for rebuild the East Lyme High School dugouts. Source of funds will be $26,360 from learned rental fees.
Second.
Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries.
For your information, Mr. Chairman, and for the good of the commission, this will appear in a town meeting. That will be next Wednesday at 7 o'clock for many of the items that you'll see tonight. So we want to get that out to the public. And for your information, maybe you could attend as well.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you.
Thanks, Donna.
Thank you, Donna.
Next item is a special appropriation of $49,785 for a deep recreational trails grant.
So we have a grant to develop trails. Just like the title says, we're going to be constructing some new parking areas, gravel parking areas, in some of our town roads near the trailheads, Grassy Hill Road, Darrow Pond, Whistletown Road. But the big part will be the Darrow Pond property, where there'll be the main entrance to the trail system. The town costs of this program is in-kind services. We'll be doing the work with our staff and with our volunteers, and with we have all sorts of volunteers that are really into the trail system in this town, and God bless them. So Gary is here if you have any specific questions on this grant. Ask away.
Hi, Gary.
Good
evening.
You came all this way tonight, Gary. Is there something you'd like to tell us?
I think Mark covered most of it.
Took your thunder away.
He did. The parking area, I can just elaborate on. When this was in front of the Board of Selectmen, they asked about the parking area up at Darrow's. It's already in the existing paved lot. There's a portion of it that we would propose to chip seal. That would be the only paved parking area. The parking area up on Grassy Hill and Whistletown Road will both be gravel, and they'll be positioned in the town right away. In addition, the trail is approximately 12 miles long in total. It runs from Darrow Pond out to Route 82 and Devil's Hop Yard. From there, we partnered on this grant with the 8 Mile Wild and Scenic River Watershed Group, who are in the process of acquiring roughly 3 other connections, if you will, easements that will take this trail all the way to the Salmon River State Forest, which will tie into the Airline Trail, which heads somewhere to Marlboro. So for southeastern Connecticut, I think it's a huge win in terms of the recreational opportunity and the tourism attraction.
Gary, who put the grant together? Is that a grant you?
This is a grant that Victor Benny, our town engineer, and myself partnered on. And
Good job. I know you've kicked up the effort to apply for a lot of these grants out there.
So didn't we just say there will only be 30-some thousand left in the Fund 32, or did I remember that incorrectly? I remembered it incorrectly?
That, What you were asking for, I was only responding relative to learn revenues.
Oh,
Okay, and then this appropriation, we're receiving grant funds equal to what we spend. So
Right.
it'll,
I understand that. I just
Okay.
didn't know if we had the money in the account to expend before we get the grant funds.
we have sufficient funds, we do, yes.
Okay.
And this is a 3-year program, right?
We have 3 years to complete the work.
Right.
So we would anticipate doing some minor work this fall at Darrow Pond, just some erosion stabilization work, and then in the spring, coordinating with Victor and DPW to do the other parking areas.
So we'll do some advertising for the town so they know that what we're working on and what the end in mind is and all of that, right?
Part of the grant application requires us to actually GPS the trail, so we will put together, using our GIS, a trail map, and provide a flyer we can stick at the kiosk that the Boy Scout already erected out there. So, great.
Great.
Yeah.
Gary,
Art Carlson has spent a lot of time on this, hasn't he? as
Yes,
well?
he's been a big help and supporter of the project. So, working with 8 Mile.
Again, great job, thank you. I do, though, have 2 financial questions.
Sure.
One, the 20% required municipal contribution in kind services. Now, I'm assuming that is going to come out of the current year's budget. There won't be any further requests for appropriation for monies for overtime or an extra personnel. It can be absorbed in this year's budget, the in-kind
That-
services?
That's correct. That's our intent.
Okay, good. And my other question is, after reading the contract, the contractor or the town of East Lyme is going to be responsible for ongoing maintenance on an annual basis, which is fine. I think that's all good for our town and its people. But do you have any idea how much that is going to cost to maintain these trails?
I think through Parks and Rec and the folks that will be using the trails, maintenance will be minimal. I would like to start a program where we can really take advantage of our relationship with the Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts of America and get them involved to help offset some of those trail maintenance costs. Obviously, there are situations where you have downed trees that need to be cut. Aside from volunteers, there may be some resources, field service resources that we need. Someone with a chainsaw to go out there and cut a tree. But I think they're going to be nominal. But I don't have a definitive long-term figure on it.
But in the future, whatever cost would probably be part of the Parks and Rec department or Public Works?
Or Public
or-
Works. It probably depends on the type of
I
construction.
think you may get, as the East Lyme Land Trust continues to get their act together, so to speak, there's a lot of people on there that have volunteered their time to work on trails. So I expect, as Gary said, you'll get people volunteering if it's done properly. But
I would say that the majority of the trail, which runs through state property already, the state does maintain for the most part, but some of these funds will go toward work on those trails, primarily the more environmental concerns of erosion and sedimentation issues on those areas along the trail into wetlands. So trying to resolve those.
So if I wanted to take a walk now, is that 12 miles there, or is that what's being worked on through multi-grants, whatever? In
The trail, for the most part, is there. It's not completely blazed, and it's not officially established because I'm waiting on the grant money. And once we get the grant, the grant's been awarded. Once this starts the ball rolling forward, then we can officially say, hey, here's the trail, here's the work we've done, report to the state that it's completed.
any other questions or comments? Do I hear a motion on the floor?
Move to approve a special appropriation in the amount of $49,785 in CNRE Fund 32 to Revenue and Budget Account to be established, titled Niantic 8 Mile River Watershed Trail for the Department of Energy and Environmental Protection's Recreation Trails Program Grant Award.
Second?
Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries 6-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gary.
Thank you, Gary.
Thank you.
Good
Gary.
work.
Next item under new business is special appropriation of $23,229 for the purchase and installation of a new 911 phone system.
Our able emergency management director, Dick Morris, is here. He has 2 proposals for you this evening, so he'll park himself up here and give you his presentation and answer any and all questions you may have.
Thank you. Good evening. My first one, I believe, is the phone system.
It is.
We had to work very hastily to come up with a solution once the E911 new phone system for the state was put into place. We lost the capability of using the phones that we currently have, and AT&T told us that they would not support what we're doing, so we had to go to a digital type phone that we can do more with and have one set of phones be able to meet the demands of texting and so forth for 911. So we then came up with a creative way to pay for this with the Nuclear Safety Fund, the EMPG fund, and also some money that was left in a phone project that Engineer Shear had going, so that we could keep it a minimum cost to the community and still accomplish our needs for putting this phone system in. The phone system eventually will tie into what Engineer Shear is conducting with the town, the police department, and possibly the fire departments at a later date. But he has a large phone project that he's coming forward with in this budget cycle for town hall. So they'll all tie in together. It's as simple as our phone system will mimic what the school systems are already using, tied in with the Nutmegs system and the public safety data network system. That's the fiber optic throughout the community. So that's my first quest.
Any questions for Dick?
Nice job again, seeking out these grants to upgrade our phone system, so thank you for that. And if I understand this correctly, you're just looking to get basically from the town $6,900 of
Right.
this entire cost.
Correct.
That's, would anyone like to make a motion?
Move to approve a special appropriation to CNRE Fund 32 in the amount of $23,229 to cover the cost of purchase and installation of a new enhanced 911 phone system. This is to include an account to be established titled Enhanced 911 Phone System in CNRE Fund 32 with corresponding revenue accounts for sources of funds, $6,832 for NSCP grant and $9,446 for EMPG grant. In addition, a transfer from CNRE Fund 32 account 32-70-300-500-100 in the amount of $6,951.
Second.
Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Before you start on the next one, Dick, I got a conflict with another engagement, so I'm going to turn this over to Lisa to just finish it up.
Okay,
So here, there's crazy traffic on 95.
really? What else is there? Okay, so our next item is an appropriation for $98,071 for the purchase of the new Harbor Master boat.
Correct. We went after a federal grant with this. It came to my attention through Senator Blumenthal's office and First Selectman Nickerson's office as to this grant being available. Normally, the venue for harbor masters wouldn't go this route. It's a law enforcement, fire type grant that's offered on Long Island Sound. We put in for it. Took a lot of work. Our assistant Julie Wilson and Chris Taylor, Lieutenant Burton, who is the new harbor master in Waterford, and myself put considerable amount of time and energy over April and May to meet the deadline for this grant, and we were awarded it in July for a new harbor master boat. The boat that is currently being used is unseaworthy. It needs tons of work. It right now currently is sitting with if we go forward with a bill for $4,400, we spent $2,000 on it last year, so we're just spending continuously bad money on trying to fix a problem that has been handed down for years, this boat, and is in poor condition. So we feel that this boat will be a great asset between Waterford and East Lyme to manage the 400-plus moorings that we have between the two communities, and also to be able to meet the objective of the rivers and bay areas that we're supposed to be monitoring for any outside vessels or any of that nature that come into play. The revenue source for this is $13,000 and change on our part to pay for this new boat, and the funding stream that we would be able to replace this money would hopefully come from the sale of the existing 23-foot Grady White police boat that's sitting in storage right now, that we hope to do a closed bid auction on starting next week.
So how will we coordinate the use of this with Waterford? Is there some system we're going to work out? So
Yeah, they normally, between the deputy harbor masters and myself from Waterford and East Lyme, pick a week or so forth that they use the boats. And there's a lot of on shoreline patrols that it does, and it also helps with the large kayak regatta that was at the mouth of the river by Golden Spur. It helps with the triathlon, a lot of those different things that go on out there, some of the regattas out in the bay that we do safety boat type deals for. So there hasn't been an issue with sharing the boat and meeting the objective of both communities.
So you might have just answered this and I didn't get it. So are we going to alternate weeks where our folks would use it, they use it one week, or is it on an as-needed basis?
Well, it'd be on a weekly basis that
Swap it.
between Waterford, there's the deputy harbor master, Dick Miller, lives over on the river himself that has a waterfront dock, so a week or so it might be over there, and then the other time it'd be at Port Niantic at a slip. And the slip is donated by Port Niantic to store and usage. Keep it in the water, or it can be maintained on the trailer and be moved to different areas.
Where does it go in the winter?
We can either store it at the Old Town Garage in the parking lot there, or at the lockup over in Waterford Police Department.
What budget will take care of the fuel for this? And the operating
It's already a
costs?
fuel budget, am I right?
That's correct. It already comes out of the Harbor Management Fund
Okay.
for both communities. So what happens is, what's been happening in the past is that the fuel gets done at any of the marinas that have been set up. A bill comes from Waterford for our share, and during harbor management meetings, then they process those bills through Anna Johnson's office.
Keep in mind, we're not adding any new asset. Well, we're adding a new asset to the river, but we're not adding a new boat to the fleet. We're taking a boat out too, so we're not adding more boats to the fleet, shall I say. So we'll still have the police boat, the fire boat, and now the harbor master boat. We're just getting a new updated version for 13 cents on the dollar.
Dick, do you have any idea of what the fair market value is of the boat that you want to put out to auction?
I do, and we're going to start a minimum bid of $8,000.